Hey Dan K Show fans, it's Power Rankings week, finally. I've been waiting for this one all year long. We're going to be doing Premier and Elite Power Rankings at the end of each month, all season long. You were beckoning for it last year, you were calling for it, and you wanted those Power Rankings, and you wanted to be in them. Well, you got to watch today, because today we find out who we think the top 10 teams are in the Elite and the Premier. I made the biggest power play of all, and I bumped Lucas off the air. Just kidding. He's under the weather this week, so it's an all Dan K broadcast here. Maybe a little Lucas mixed in. We'll see. Dan K Show coming at you now. Welcome back, Dan K Show fans. Usually I open up the show with my 3 things. Guess what? Dan K's got 0 things because he's got 10 of them coming at you right now. Before I get there, let me show you a little something. Dan K got to go to the Stonehill College golf outing this past weekend and won himself a little alumni shirt here, little sweater, little Jimmy Vesey signed jersey here from my Rangers. Might be a tough year for the Rangers, but it's been a good year for Dan now that he gets the Jimmy Vesey jersey. But let's talk about 10 teams at the elite level who I think are having the best start to the season, the hottest start. It's tough to do this. It is tough to put together these lists because there's so many great teams, so many great elite squads this year. I boiled it down to 10 right now. If you disagree with me, reach out, hashtag DanKPowerRankings, DanKPowerRankings. That's after one hashtag. One hash brown there. Remember how to do it. Let's go to the top 10. Number 10. The last team to make the list here, the Atlanta Junior Kings. They were reigning supreme. They were powerful. They were strong, and they're on their throne. 4-4 to start the year, their wins and losses wise. Goals for, goals against, 26-4, 15 against. They've beaten Potomac twice. They've got the Carolina Eagles on their win side. They've beaten the Blades. Struggled against the Palm Beach Hawks there. They've been a good team. I think they fall just inside this top 10. Let's move to number 9. This is a squad that last year, all year long, was in the top 3. The New Jersey Rockets. They've fallen back a little bit here, 3-3-1 with the OT loss. The goals against it, the goals differential is not good right now, -14. That's a troubling sign there. You got to get those goals up. Got to start playing some defense. Put some bodies in front of nets here. But they've got 3 wins against the Aviators, a tough Aviator squad. They've also lost twice to the Aviators, played them 5 times already, and lost to the Hitmen twice. It's a Rockets team that makes it in more on what they were last year than what they are this year. The Rockets have a little room for improvement, but that's what junior hockey's all about, right? Bringing in those bodies, improving those players, and I trust the growth model the Rockets have shown us from Elite to NCDC to work now at the elite level and build this team. Let's go to number 8. I'm going all the way south here for number 8. And this was tough. Let's do 8 and 7 at the same time because both of these teams are in the Florida division. 7 and 8. The 2 teams are the Florida Eels and the Tampa Bay Juniors, and I could go either way. The biggest thing is they've played each other this year and they've split. I could have made it a tie, but I don't like that. I like going all out. I like making decisions. I put the Tampa Bay Juniors 8th. Zach Parker, their Capitan, doing great down there. Absolutely awesome start to the year for Zach Parker. But I got the Eels just in front of them right now. Eels 5-1-1. Juniors 6-3-0. The Eels also tied Carolina. They have a tie on the record. The Eels, you look at them, they've played the Hampton Roads Whalers tight 2-1 game. Played Tampa Bay Juniors in a tight game, 5-4 when they lost it. Then they scored a ton of goals against Palm Beach. Beat Tampa Bay once. They beat the Atlanta Kings. I just think that they looked better against the better competition. For Tampa Bay, tough loss to the Rush, tough loss to Hampton Roads. I think that it's Eels 7, Juniors 8. Let's go to number 6. That's the number that almost slipped out of my mouth, but now I'm going to say it. Number 8. I've watched this team live. We've done a free game of the week with them. Charlotte Rush. Number 6 here, Charlotte Rush. The Rush, you know, last year, Elite and Premier, they were on the top. They were number 1 in both the Elite and Premier. Unheard of, unthought of, unthinkable, unfounded. Little slower start this year in the Elite, 6-4-0. They've gotten swept there by the Hampton Roads Whalers and the Generals back-to-back series. It was a tough start to the year, but they've righted the ship. This is the team, I think, with the most room to grow. I think by the end of the year, you could see the Rush in the 3-2-1 range. Right now, Charlotte Rush sitting at 6 with those 4 losses. Number 5, now we're getting to the good stuff. We're getting to the juicy-goosies. 47 goals for, 16 goals against for this squad. This team plays defense, and they score in bunches. The New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. 7 wins, 1 loss, no OT losses. They beat the Bruins. They've beaten Beijing twice, and we know that Beijing team tends to get better and better as the year goes on. We saw it last year. They beat the Cyclones. Their lone loss, a 5-3 beat by the Bandits. The Bandits beat them 5-3, and that's why the Bandits fall to number 4 there. They drop in the 4 range, number 4 overall in our power rankings. The Boston Bandits stealing wins from everybody. They're 5-0 with an OT loss. 30-11 is the goals for goals against split there. You look at them, they've beaten the Monarchs. That's a huge win. That might be one of the strongest wins we have until we get to the top 3. Outside the top 3, Boston Bandits have definitely the best win in the New Hampshire Monarchs. They've lost to Beijing. That's a tough loss. 4-3, it was close. They could have had that one win. It was an OT loss. They've beaten IHC twice. The Boston Bandits could steal their way into the top 3. But now let's get to the top 3. The top 3 teams, I think, for those of you who haven't heard me name them yet, you're probably saying to yourself, I know who these 3 are, but what order do they fall in? That's where the excitement comes in. Everyone knows how much I love Brad Jones and the elite Hampton Roads Whalers. And everyone knows Brad Jones is going to be reaching out to Dan right after he watches this to rag on him, because I'm putting him number 3. Hampton Roads 7-2-0, 46 goals scored this year. They swept the Rush with 2 wins while we were there down in Hampton Roads, Virginia. They've beaten the Eels. They beat the Juniors. They beat the Kings. But they couldn't beat the Generals. The Generals came up with 2 wins against them. That's what slots them back to number 3. I look at the Hampton Roads Whalers, and I just see a team with a lot of promise, a lot of opportunity, and a lot of ability to score. Arun Sabrario. How about a guy who knows the scenario? He puts up a hat trick while we were there. 6 goals, 7 assists. I heard a little something from the grapevine of the league that he may be featured in a magazine coming up soon, possibly in Arizona, possibly a hockey magazine. Inside Scoops. DJ Randall. Go DJ, that's my DJ. DJ Randall can't handle the Randall. 6 goals, 7 assists as well. And then Cody Wilson. Wilson leading the way. You know, Tom Hanks lost his soccer ball when he was out in that island. Well, Hampton Roads can't lose this guy because Cody Wilson is absolutely dominant. 9 goals, 6 assists. Let's keep moving. We got 2 left. Who's number 2? Who is number 2 on this list? Hit him up. Hit him up. The Jersey Hitmen. The Jersey Hitmen fall at number 2, 4-0-0, undefeated so far, 33-3 that goal split. I think Hampton Roads and Boston may be 2 teams that could beat the Hitmen head-to-head right now. But you look at the goal split, you look at the fact that they swept 2 teams that have won in the past, the Rockets and Beijing, and they've looked that good. They've only allowed 3 goals. Let's look at the goaltending of this Jersey Hitmen Premier team. Let me jump through my handy-dandy notebook here. How about Ryan Selman and Logan Beatty? These 2 have both started 2 games. 0.50 goals against average for Selman, 1.03 for Beatty. Man, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen a Logan as good as Beatty since Wolverine. And Selman, you sold me on you, man. Selman, that's what he does. He's a salesman, and he sold me 2-0, 1 goal allowed for that young skater in 2 starts. He's got himself a shutout as well, 37 saves for him. So we've gone through our top 10, right? Or did we? Because we forgot our number 1. Who is the most powerful of all power rankings? Who's number 1? This guy's going to like it. I think RC might like this one. How about our number 1 elite team as of October 1, the Richmond Generals. The Richmond Generals come into this weekend here, coming out of a beautiful showcase down in Charlotte at 7-1-0. They're only lost to the Rush, but they've beaten the Rush twice. They've got 2 wins against the Rush to offset that 1 loss. That tells you that where the Rush are going, they're starting to trend upward. But they swept the Whalers. They sweep the Rush on a weekend. They've beaten Palm Beach and they've beaten the Florida Blades 46-16, the goal differential there for them. And you look at Matt Doherty. Matt Doherty is a guy who I really can't wait to see where he ends up, because college scouts out there, I know we have a bunch that have been reaching out to us recently. If you're going through that elite level, Matt Doherty is a guy, 15 goals, 7 assists, a left winger there. He's 6 foot tall, 185 pounds. He's a year 99. This guy's got nothing but up written on him. He's going up. He's going big time. Matt Doherty has to be scouted right now if he's not already being scouted. Then you look at Jacob Burke, a year 2000. It's a young team. It's a young group of guys. Year 2000, there's 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points. And Noah Farley. Noah Farley. There's nothing funny about this Farley. This isn't Chris. This is Noah. And he's building an arc for this team. And he's leading them to the promised land. How about this Richmond Generals squad? If you haven't had a chance, turn on Hockey TV the next time they're on. Must-see Hockey TV. Richmond Generals, number 1. Let's run back through it one more time for everyone there at home and go through this list. Number 1, the Richmond Generals. Number 2, your Jersey Hitmen. Number 3, the Hampton Roads Whalers. 4, the Boston Bandits. 5, the New Hampshire Monarchs. 6, the Charlotte Rush. 7, the Florida Eels. 8, the Tampa Bay Juniors. 9, the New Jersey Rockets. And 10, the Atlanta Junior Kings. Those are your elite power rankings. Reach out to us at @the_Dan Show on Twitter, at @the_Dan Show on Instagram, and at the Dan K Show on Facebook to let us know if you agree, disagree, if you like me, if the show's better when Lucas isn't here and he's replaced by an empty Jimmy Vesey signed jersey, if you want a bobblehead Dan, who knows what you want to reach out to us about, but do it. We hope you enjoyed the Elite Power Rankings, because we got to take a quick breather. And now it's time for the Premier Power Rankings coming up next.
Want Dan K and Lucas Jones to come to your town? Follow Dan and Lucas on Twitter. Dan at Dan_Kamichik and Lucas Jones at LJones1138 # The Dan K Show. Get more of The Dan K Show on their YouTube channel.
All right. You know, I've gone through the Elite. I've taken my deep breath. I'm getting ready for the social media storm that we're going to have at our doorstep on Thursday night here when this airs live, because I understand just how passionate you fans are, and who's more passionate than the Premier fans, because it's Premier Power Rankings time. It's time to do these Power Rankings for the Premier League. There's 52 teams in the Premier. The USPHL Premier, 52 teams. I had to boil it down to 10, the top 10. That was tough to do. I'll tell you what, here's some teams that were just on the outside looking in. I don't want to give you all of them just yet. I'll tell you some more at the end and leak some more, because I don't want to give it up. But how about the Lansing Wolves, 5-2-1, 24-23 goal split. They were a team I could have put in it. They've beaten Toledo twice. They've beaten MJDP twice. They've lost to Metro twice, though, lost to Toledo. Then you have the Boston Bandits, who have beaten IHC in Springfield. They're 2-0. They've only played 2 games, though, so it's still a lot to be seen there. Another team with just 2 games on the schedule so far, the Minnesota Blue Hawks. 1-1, split with the Mullets. I'm not really too sure about them yet. There's a little more hockey to be played out there in the Midwest. The Blue Hawks I don't know about yet. They stay outside of it as well. So the Blue Hawks, Bandits, Wolves don't make it. Who does? There's a 3-way tie for 10th. Sometimes I make decisions, sometimes I don't. This time I wavered. I couldn't pick between these 3 teams. Here's what I had to do. I had to make them tie. Our first group here, tied for 10th, the Junior Bruins. They went 4-1-0 so far. They're 18-13, that goal differential there. Twin City, they've swept. I think Twin City's a better team than a lot of teams think, and I mean, than a lot of people think right now, because it's early. They're 2-4. Twin City's 2-4. They're new team, new launch. Coach Friedman's going to get that team going. They're going to get moving. Those Thunder Buddies are going to be possibly up in this top 10 later this year. That could be my Dan K prediction for this one. Twin City Thunder, the biggest jump in the standings by the time we get to January. But Junior Bruins have played tough against good competition. They've struggled a little with Northern. They're 4-1-0. Another team tied with the Junior Bruins at 10th. The DME Swamp Rabbits. How about a turnaround in an organization, folks? How about the DME Swamp Rabbits getting out in a recruiting trail, putting it together? And how about Daniel Avdukin? Again, my favorite player of all time right now in this very moment, because there's 90 million other players in this league that I love as well. But Daniil Avdija has just been so good, leading the league in points right now. He's the top point getter. When you have the top point getter, you have to make the power rankings. That's what power rankings are all about. DME, they beat Tampa Bay twice, beat Palm Beach twice, but they struggled with the good guys down there in the Southeast. Hampton Roads, the Rush, and the Generals all beat up on them. How about the Richmond Generals not making the list? Not making the top 10. RC Like is not going to like that when their elite team's number 1. Honorable mention for the Richmond Generals, who are just on the outside looking in. Other tied for 10th, Motor City Hockey Club. Great work out there by Motor City early in this season, taking care of business. You can only play the teams in front of you. 5-1-0. How about they sweep the Cougars? They sweep the Chicago Cougars. Brad Stouffer's Cougars never lose out there in the Midwest East. That's a big 2 wins. That was a statement victory. And then they win the battle under the bridge there. The Detroit Fighting Irish drop a game to the Motor City Hockey Club after having a big-time lead. Coach Vasquez's side lose 5-3. Motor City Hockey Club, DME Swamp Rabbits, and the Junior Bruins, a nationally syndicated tied for 10th there. You got national coverage by those teams. One from the Midwest West, from the Midwest East, one from Florida, and one from the New England division. All over the place there at 10. We go to 9, no more ties, folks. No more ties. I'm not going to give you any more ties. I'm not going to give you none of that nonsense. Let's talk about the New Hampshire Monarchs. The New Hampshire Monarchs 6-2-0. They swept the Stars with 2 games. Their 2 losses against Skipjacks and South Shore Kings. And that's what puts them down this list a little bit. This premier squad has struggled with some of the big dogs so far. But they've got Zach Olin, 2 goals, 11 assists. This is a right winger who creates for his team. You look at Patrick McCoy, 10 assists. Their forwards are creating opportunities. Their defensemen are getting involved with blocking shots. This is a Monarchs team that has some room to grow. They've got that NCDC level now, which kind of stretches out and allows them to really get a chance to practice with that NCDC squad. See that level of play. That brings these premier squads. It brings the level of play up as the year goes on. They're at number 9. A lot of room to grow for the Monarchs. I move on. Number 8. The Connecticut Nighthawks. Caw-caw! The Nighthawks make it. Not only do I love the name, I love the fact I got to put them on this list. The Nighthawks 6-0 in an OT loss. 30 goals for this year. They've swept the Niagara Falls Thunder. They swept the CJR, the Connecticut Junior Rangers, who I always love. They beat the Stars. They lost to the South Shore Kings and the Jersey Shore Whalers. Again, the South Shore Kings, we're hearing that name a lot in the premier level, beating some teams in the top 10. Connecticut Nighthawks, let's drop into their roster here. Let's check out what the Nighthawks have done. The Nighthawks, 6 goals, 11 assists by their top point getter, right winger Austin Marini. And how about Dennis Kuzmanov? Kuzmanov, 12 points, 7 goals, 5 assists. Marini, Kuzmanov on the 2 wings there. Really like that combination. And then they got Flanagan and Twardowski, the 2 centermen. I think this Nighthawks team is going to be a lot to deal with come playoff time. They can keep this thing together and they can keep growing. It's going to be a good season to be a Nighthawk, I can tell you that much. Nighthawks at number 8. Moving to number 7, flying high, folks. We just had the Nighthawks flying, but how about the Aviators? Hashtag fire up. Mike Stanaway wrote to me and he said, you got to look at these numbers. You got to see what we're putting up right now. 42 goals for, 7 goals against. 42 goals for, 7 goals against. Let me, one more time. 42-7. 5-0. 5-0. 0 losses. I have a list here of losses and wins, so I know what teams, what you've done and what against. They're in the none column there. No losses for them. They're one of the undefeated teams in this side here in this premier level. They've gone out there. They've beaten Jersey Shore Whalers. They've beaten the Hitmen. They swept Hartford. They beat Philly. They've taken care of business. They beat Hitmen 7-1, which was an absolutely outstanding big-time win for a lot of folks. They thought the Hitmen were going to go on a road there and take it to the Aviators. The Aviators have really shown up this year. I go into the group. I see Isaac Hallman with 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points. I see Kevin Lilstrom Stenru with 6 goals, 7 assists, and a great name. And I see Ledenkov with 12 points as well. And Andrew Dreyer, 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points. How about Andrew Dreyer there, a centerman who creates, and you love to see it. That's where the scoring comes from. A centerman who creates, takes up space in the center of the ice, and makes opportunities for his wingers to put the puck in the back of the net. Unselfish play from a centerman wins titles, and that's what the Aviators have the ability to do this year, is win a title. We go to the goalie side of the Aviators because this team's only given up 7 goals. And how about Nick Battaglia? Nick Battaglia is 3-0 with 2 goals against average, 101 saves made this year, 6 goals against. Brad DeFonso is backup, who is the best New York names of all time. Nick Battaglia and Brad DeFonso sound like the 2 guys who are just hanging out, you know what I mean, playing some stickball down the street in the Bronx, you know, the boogie down. 28 saves for him. He's got a shutout in his 1 start. Brad DeFonso coming up big. These 2 looking strong in net, very comfortable there between the pipes. I'm excited to see what this New York Aviators team does going forward. Moving on, we go to number 6. I have to put this team in every Premier Power rankings for the rest of the time until they prove me wrong. It's the Skipjacks Hockey Club. Last time I left them off one of these things, they went on an 8-game winning streak. So out of fear for my own health here, because they also called me out this year and they said, you better not forget who to put in your power rankings this year. And I said, boys, I won't forget. You guys are great. And again, we had some great conversations. I was hanging out with the Skipjacks guys at the Marlboro rink there for the Boston Junior Bruins Shootout. The Junior Bruins Shootout was a great time, great event. I got to watch the Skipjacks play a couple games, and one of the games I got to watch the Skipjacks play was a 5-0 win against the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs, who fell at 9 in this list. The Skipjacks Hockey Club's better than you think, and they tend to get better as the year goes on. Great kids, really good personalities on that team. I think they're going to mesh even more as the season goes on. I think the Skipjacks can get as high as 3 or 2 within the next month or so. Again, we're doing this each month, end of the month. Skipjacks Hockey Club, 5-2-0 this year. I've got them at number 6. Moving to number 5, a team that was number 1 every single time we did this forever until the end of time last year, the Charlotte Rush. Charlotte Rush 7-2-0, losses this year coming at the hands of the Hampton Roads Whalers. We were there for that one, free game of the week, and the Carolina Eagles. This is a team that started slow, new coach in Lenny Childs with them, a guy who is the guy in my mind. He is a great, great coach behind the bench. He knows how to kind of play the personalities, the officiating crew there, the referees. He knows how to get the guys excited when they need to be excited, calm them down when they need to be calm, and get them happy when they need to be happy. And that's what he's doing behind the bench. Lenny Childs at number 5 with the Charlotte Rush. They could rush to the top of this thing by the end of the season. Never count out the Rush. 43 goals for, 20 against. And as much as the Richmond Generals have beat up on the Rush in the elite level, the Charlotte Rush have beat up on the Generals at the Premier level with 3 wins against them. And I picked against the Rush. I picked my upset special just a few days ago here now that this is airing. I picked the Generals to beat the Rush in Charlotte, and they laughed at me, the Charlotte Rush, because they went and got a W. They made me look stupid. That's easy to do. I'm not going to be stupid with this next one, though, because number 4, Antlers Up. Number 4 in our Premier Power rankings are the Minnesota Moose. The Minnesota Moose have Harding out there. They've got a bunch of talent. We looked through it. I mean, the Rush obviously have Demacopoulos, Barry, Jan, Hedlund, Mikhailov, the amount of talent they have. But when we go to the Moose, you've got Ryan Kropp out there with 3 goals and 6 assists. You've got Tyler Jensen. You've got Jacob Harding, 3 goals, no assists right now. It's early in this Midwest season. It's tough to really pick out who is the Midwest West team to get into this thing. I think by the end of the year, there's going to be 3 or 4 of them. But the Moose, right now, the Midwest West representative out here in the top 10. Eric Malcarney's out there as well with 6 assists. I just really like this Moose team. I really like what they have going right now. It seems like their fan base is good. You watch the games, you see there's a home ice advantage, and it's very big. Also, 2 huge come-from-behind wins against the Dells Ducks, a very difficult team to beat. You got Maximilian Hasselbacher, who has got two wins, 1 loss on the year in net, 1.67 goals against, and then Rupert Svard with 2 goal against average. You're seeing some insane goals against average for these goaltenders. The saves percentages are up. Hasselbacher has a .944 saves percentage. You don't see that very often. Svard with a .927. These guys are doing what they need to do. They're taking care of business. The Minnesota Moose did everything they needed to do to be where they are right now, 5-1-0. They beat the Havoc, but also split with the Havoc. They beat the Ducks, they beat the River Kings, and they only lost to the Havocs a 1-0 game, one of those games where a goaltender stands in their head, and the Havoc played some good defense there. Go to number 3, The Metro Jets, soaring, flying high, first year in the USPHL. And how about this premier team? 4-0-0, 29 goals for, 5 against, and they're over in China right now, jet setting, and playing hockey over in China. They beat Germany, playing Finland. They're all over the place. What a team, what a representative for this league. They're another team with the none in the loss column. And the next two that'll be after this also have a none in the loss column. Number 3, team in the power rankings of the Premier, Metro Jets. They've beaten Lansing twice. They beat Worcester. They beat Toledo. They've beaten the teams they have to beat. They're scoring the goals they need to score. Jawan Davis looks great on the ice. Jeremy Schwartz, incredible to watch. Centerman Joey Bruce leads the way here. You look down, you see Joey DeMarte, you see Devlin McCauley, you see Justin Song singing away with 1 goal and 3 assists. You see a team that has depth, and then you look behind the 5 skaters out there, and you see some goaltenders that you can trust. You see Frederick Merling, you see Brian Tallow, and you see the fact that you got 2 goaltenders under 1.5 goals against average, 2 goaltenders with over .92 saves percentage. Merling with a .967. These guys stop pucks. They block them before they get to the goaltenders. I really like what the Metro Jets have put together. And this team easily could have been my number 1 if these other 2 didn't exist. Let's get to number 2. Number 2 team in the Premier out of 52. Out of 52 teams, I think the second best team in the Premier right now, Coach P's South Shore Kings. They're undefeated. They're 5-0-0. They've got 21 goals for, 10 against. They've got Cal Wilcox. When there's a Will, there's a Wilcox, and there's a way. In net, Cal has been tearing them up, stopping everything between the pipes for his side. They've beaten CJR. They've beaten the Connecticut Nighthawks. They ran the gamut in Connecticut. They've beaten the Jersey Shore Whalers. They've beaten the Syracuse Stars, and they've beaten the New Hampshire Monarchs, who the New Hampshire Monarchs have 1 loss to their record this year. Sorry, 2 losses to their record this year, and one of them's to South Shore. The other one's the Skipjacks. So that's a good New Hampshire team that they've beaten. They've got the wins to put on the scorecard there. We look at their roster. Tommy Giandomenico is a skater I really like. We got to do a couple games last year of this Premier side, and Tommy Giandomenico is somebody who he's not just a guy who skates well with the puck on his stick. He puts himself in the right positions, and he's coaches love a guy like Giandomenico to coach. If you're a scout, what the heck are you doing? Let's look at Giandomenico. Let's also look at Dash Quartarolo. Quartarolo with 4 assists. He's dashing all over the ice. He's quick. He's got a great name. And then Joseph Schaefer, 3 goals, 1 assist. Robert Filaski, 3 goals, 1 assist. There's depth in scoring. I'm looking down the list, and I'm all the way down about 20 skaters with a point on this team. And that tells you this is not a one-man operation. This is a 4-line operation. This is 3 D pairs getting involved. They do the special teams. They do the little things, and it's the little things that win titles. I like South Shore because it isn't flashy. It's done right. It's well coached. It's well put together. South Shore Kings number 2. Number 1. I can't put myself number 1. I'd love to. I love myself. Lucas isn't here. I get to do all the talking. This is one of my favorite days of the year when I get to talk nonstop. I hope you're enjoying it. You know what I enjoy? I enjoy good hockey. I enjoy goal scoring. I enjoy, a little bit of pizzazz when a goal is scored. And I think we might just be throwing up a goal scored from this team right now to let you know the number 1 team overall in the Premier, according to Dan K and the Dan K Show, 8-0-0, the Hampton Roads Whalers. All roads this year so far have led to Hampton Roads. They've swept the Rush. They've swept the Generals. They haven't been beat. They've put up 37 goals. They have the Utica men. The Utica men and Osmondson, Monkovich. They've got Connor Hunt, who's hunting for goals. They've got Oliver Frieden, who I got a chance to watch Oliver play, and my Lanta, he's good. You get to see Jackson Rakowski, Max Loga, Jared Sanchez, Brandon Borg, Matthew Hanshin. You get to see Brady Mistler, Jacob Kaplan, and then how about Alec Lindbergh in net? How about Lindbergh in net, who's also got an assist this year for this side. Lindbergh also has an assist this year for this side. Do not forget that one. And Jake the Snake Bennett, the most interesting man in junior hockey. He got 41 votes for our star of the game when we did our first broadcast. It's before people knew what the star of the game was. He got 41 votes on our first broadcast of the Dan K Show star of the game. And my, how's this team put it together? Monkovich, 10 goals, 3 assists, 13 points. The Wizard of Osmondson, Brandon Osmondson, 7 goals, 12 assists, 19 points, and a play of the week that we got sent over here from the Hampton Roads Whalers. I love the way this team's put together. They're doing things the right way. If you are looking for talent, head down to Hampton Roads right now at the Premier level because there is a bevy of it. My favorite word in the English dictionary. And this is my favorite thing to do is to really rank these teams, rile some people up, rattle some cages, put this on your bulletin board. You didn't make it. Let me know that you're unhappy about it. Some of the other honorable mentions I'm seeing, the Jersey Hitmen, the Minnesota Mullets, the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings, the Minnesota Blue Hawks, the Boston Bandits, the Lansing Wolves, who I mentioned. You look through this, I could go for days and tell you teams that I missed. I even love the Twin City Thunder right now, who started slow. I told you that. I told you I love the New Jersey Rockets. They tend to put it together. The Cougars aren't on it. You look at the Steele County Blades, who have beaten some of the teams on this list. I know Scott Sturgeon loves the Rum River Mallards. I know that the Northern Cyclones have beaten a few big guys. The Islanders Hockey Club always tends to figure it out. The Connecticut Junior Rangers, who I love. There's so much talent. How about the Richmond Generals? How about the Carolina Eagles? There's so much talent at this level. There's so much talent. There's so much talent all throughout the Premier. 52 teams worth of it. Who's going to be on the Premier rankings next month? If you didn't make it, you gotta try a little harder here, boys. Let's go. Let's get in the Dan K Show. Let's get our names mentioned. Let's be a part of it. And you at home, reach out. Let us know what you think. We love hearing when we're wrong. Honestly, love it. We love the back and forth. Let's get into a GIF battle like we've been doing with the Pal Junior Islanders NCDC squad. Let's have some fun. Thank you for watching our Premier Rankings. The only thing we have left to do is how we end every show. It's time for the Empty Net. Welcome to the Empty Net. Welcome to the Empty Net, an empty nest here without my Lucas next to me, my consigliere, my Michelle. My Lucas is not here again. My winnings, my Jimmy Veazey winnings are here. Check out our Instagram. You'll see some pictures from our golf tournament that we went to. You'll see some pictures from the weekend, and I'm going to start having more of those Instagram stories. We got over 200 watchers there on that Instagram stories, the Instagram stories I was putting out. You guys got to watch me drive alone all the way up to the big game up in Hudson, New Hampshire. The Northern Cyclones taking on the Boston Junior Bruins NCDC. Who's the free game of the week this week, Dan? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Thank you, Lucas. The free game of the week this week, the NCDC free game of the week, is going to be during the Hitmen Showcase at the Ice Vault Arena. We're going to have the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs taking on the Boston Bandits. Big-time NCDC showdown. That should be a good one. But that won't be all. We have the free game. That'll be a 1:55 start, 1:55 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Saturday the 6th, October 6th. Following that, we're going to run over to another rink, and we're going to do another NCDC showdown. It's going to be the Connecticut Junior Rangers and the New Jersey Rockets. That's a 5:10 p.m. Eastern puck drop. We'll have that game. And then finally, we'll have a Saturday night clash between the CP Dynamo and Junior Bruins Hockey Club of the 18U. The Boston Junior Bruins 18U taking on the CP Dynamo Hockey. It's going to be a great showdown. We love the 18U level. We wanted to get one of these games, and we've been trying all year. 7:40 p.m. Eastern start at the Ice Vault. That'll be me alone on the broadcast on that one. I put out on Facebook. Let's go to what we talk about. We talk about talking with all our fans, talking to people. How about what we said? We traveled 1,688 miles in the first month of the season doing our free games of the week. How cool is that? We've touched 12 states driving through or stopping in. We did a game in Virginia, a game in New Jersey, a game in Mass, and a game in New Hampshire. 6-game broadcast total, though. We had a shutout from Derek Malahy, 2 hat tricks. Arun Sabrario knew the scenario. Michael Caine made him go insane with the Jersey Hitmen. What a great month of hockey. We thank you so much. We've had over 200,000 participants in our broadcasts over the first month now. Over 200,000. Do you understand the numbers? That's not just parents, that's not just players, that's not just fans, that's scouts as well, that's college coaches, and that's an engagement number, that's a viewership number that we're proud to be with, and without you it doesn't happen. These numbers are getting bigger too. Each and every week they keep getting bigger. I just got a chance to do a game with Tommy Smith from the Northern Cyclones, and the reception of it was great. The participation from the viewers at home was wonderful. We thank you so much for being a part of it. Let's keep going though with the social media here. Brian Hurd reached out to us with Jason Hurd's tiebreaker, big tiebreaker goal here. Dells Ducks, Casson Vipers, and a big-time score. That's a great goal there to take the lead over the Casson Vipers. We keep going down. The Whalers always keep us involved. We got our goal sent to us from about the Ozman, Brandon Osmondson scoring a big-time goal. Hockey Dad sent a soaring plane when I said the Aviators were flying high. Great work with the GIF game. We love GIFs at the Dan K Show. If you ever want a GIF respond to us, please send GIFs. We absolutely had so much activity. Mike Stanway told us 5-0, 8.4 goals a game for the Aviators. You're right, Mike, and that's why you made the power rankings. We saw that happen. Diane Sutton, she reached out to us to say what a fabulous job we did. Tommy Smith and I on the broadcast on Saturday night. The Charlotte Rush were involved. They were making fun of me. They made fun of me because I picked against them. Sharice McKay talked about our power rankings. You better be seeing those power rankings. You better be watching. The Florida Eels. We like the way that Dan K is thinking on this Sunday morning because I picked the Eels. Guess what the Eels did? They won. They made me look smart. Again, this show doesn't work without you. The Empty Net doesn't work without you. We want you watching. We want you to be a part of the show. We are so thankful for you, the fan. We're so thankful for that play on the ice because without these guys playing hockey each and every day, without these guys putting it on the line out there on the ice to try to get to that next level, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have anything to do. Lucas, parting words. Oh, he's not there. But I'm here, and we're happy you were here watching with us. The power rankings, let me run one more time through that top 10 for the Premier. Number 10 was a tie between the Junior Bruins, the DME Swamp Rabbits, and Motor City Hockey Club. Number 9, the Monarchs. Number 8, the Connecticut Nighthawks, Cacaw. Number 7, the New York Aviators. Number 6, the Skipjacks Hockey Club. Number 5, the Charlotte Rush. Number 4, the Minnesota Moose. Number 3, the Metro Jets. Number 2, the South Shore Kings. And number 1, the Hampton Roads Whalers. That's our Premier Power Rankings. That's our show. You got a problem with it, tweet to us at @the_Dan K Show. Keep following us. Keep being a part of the show. And remember, when Dan K's on the mic, it's always hockey night. I did it, Producer Lena. We did a whole show. Just me. Do we even need Lucas?
No.
We don't need him. See? Producer Lena, part of the show. Don't even need him. Lucas, don't go anywhere.